crochet friends, it's me, Jonah, and welcome back to another crochet tutorial. Today's tutorial is all about this red heart cable rib crochet hat. Initially, this hat used red heart heat wave, and I love that yarn and I use it for a variety of projects. But I decided to use Bernat Fabulous because I like the 20% wool added in. Today I'll be demonstrating using Karen's Simply Soft in this beautiful pink color because I really like the medium pink that it provides because it's not too bright, not too vibrant. It's that beautiful plum wine color that they offer. Now, to talk about the hat itself, if I take it off, you can see first and foremost, as the name of the pattern implies, that you have beautiful cables that are separated by post stitches, which is just front and back post stitches, and also some half double crochets to separate them as well. And then the only tricky part, or mildly tricky I should say, is where you're going to cross using front post double crochet, which you're going to do right here. But I'm also going to show you how to lengthen that in the treble crochet if you'd like. It all depends on your preference. And then you work a couple repeats of that for your cable, which you're going to work several times around. And then it's where you get to decreasing, which can sometimes be a little interesting or difficult to work out when you're working with a cabled pattern in the round. But I'll take you through every single step and work you through that. Because you can see how the cables get naturally smaller and smaller. And then you come to the top and you'll have a fur pom-pom, a pom-pom that's made on a pom-pom maker, or a pom-pom that you can make by hand or on a piece of cardboard. So you have 4 different options. And I'll put a link to the free written pattern, which you can download in the description box down below. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Jonah's Hands while you're down there. So grab your crochet hook, whether that's a 5, 5.5, 6, whatever crochet hook you need to match gauge, a pair of scissors, a 4-weight yarn, or whatever yarn you're going to use for this project. And let's get started, because I'm going to take you through the brim, how to work cables, how to decrease, and everything you'll need to know for this cabled rib hat. So to begin, I'll show you the hat. It starts off with a chain of 72, and then the brim is made out of 2 front post double crochets and a back post double crochet. And then it increases to 78 stitches, and then we start to work our cable pattern. And then it begins its steady decrease, and then you attach your pom-pom. So with that said, let's crochet. All projects start with a slip knot, a magic ring, or some method of getting the yarn onto the crochet hook, or whatever method you're using to stitch. There's many different ways to slip knot, but I'm going to use the one I like, and that's putting my yarn through my hand, how I'm going to hold it, and then taking my crochet hook, putting it through from back to front, rotating around. I'll show you that again. It looks better if it's in one motion, just going around, and then chaining 1. And that does not count as our first chain, that just counts as a slip knot. And now we're going to work up our chains. And the chains is a yarn over, pull through 1, and that's our first chain. So then we have to yarn over and pull through, that's our second chain. So that's 3, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you have to keep going until you hit 72. That's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's just 50 right there. And make sure to keep those chains nice and loose. If I hold them up to the camera here, you can see they're nice and loose, and that you don't want to make them too tight. Otherwise, number one, you won't be able to work into them, and number two, your hat won't fit, because this is what makes the base of your hat. Now I'm going to go back, and it's wise of all of us to pull off some more yarn so you have something to work into later. And now go back and make sure your chain is untwisted. And then slip stitch into the first chain. And now you're going to chain up 2. And double crochet into the first stitch. And a double crochet is where you yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to have to keep putting 1 in every single stitch all the way around. And at this point, you have a couple choices. You can either continue placing them how I am, or if you don't like how that's looking based on the tension of your chain, like if you think the loops on the bottom are too tight or too loose, you can either add a border later, like a single crochet with a reverse single crochet, or a twisted single crochet, which is different from a reverse single crochet. Or you can work in the top loops or the back loops, as long as your hat will fit and provide enough stretch. I'm just continuing the double crochet around. Placing double crochets in every single chain. And when I get back to the other side, then we will start to work our brim. We have now completed the first row, which was composed entirely of the chains that we worked from essentially row 0, or just the beginning foundation row, and then our foundation crochet row, which is the double crochets, or row 1. And now it's time to work row 2, or the actual brim row, the brim repeat row. And that begins by working a double crochet front post around each of the first 2 stitches. So to do that, you have to yarn over and insert to the back around the next stitch, and then come up to the right of the next stitch. So when you're on the right of this double crochet here, you're going to go to the back, but when you're on the left, you're going to come to the front. And then you're going to continue your double crochet. So for the next double crochet, it has to be a front post. So I'm going to go to the back, on the right, and on the left, I'm going to come to the front. Now this next stitch has to be a back post double crochet. So that means I'm going to go to the front on the right and on to the back on the left. And then I'm going to continue to repeat that all the way around. Another way to think about it is that you have the front of the stitch it's over the front of the crochet hook. See how the stitch is over the front of the crochet hook? And that brings it towards the front of the work. As opposed to when I work it this way, it brings the post out towards the back or the wrong side of the crochet work. So then you're going to continue working 2 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, and then follow that up with a back post double crochet. Back post double crochet in the next stitch. And this is how this pattern is going to develop. You'll see it already looks like a ribbed brim. I'll finish up this row and then I'll show you how to continue your brim. So now I've finished my second row, which is the repeat brim row. So now all you have to do is repeat this row for row 3, 4, and 5. So just repeat this row 3 more times. And then we'll move on to row number 6, which is the row where you'll have to increase to row 78 stitches. As you can see, I've completed row number 2. For the brim, you need to repeat this row 3 more times for row 3, 4, and 5. But for tutorial's sake, I'm going to go right to row 6, before the cable twist pattern. But like I said, you need to do this 3 more times. Row number 2, like I just showed you. Just work up the chain 2 front post double crochets, a back post double crochet, 2 front posts, a back post, all the way around. Now, the round after you work that round I just showed you 3 more times around is by chaining up 2. Double crochet front post around each of the first 2 stitches. And then in the next back post half double crochet, we're going to work a half double crochet. And the half double crochet is a yarn over, insert into the top of the stitch, the top 2 loops, a pull up, and a pull through 3. And then you're going to double crochet front post around the next 2 stitches. Half double crochet in the top of the next double crochet back post, and double crochet front post around the next 2 stitches. And here's where you're going to learn how to work that increase. So onto the next stitch, you're going to work 2 front post double crochet stitches. There's 1, and then go right back around that same front post stitch and work the other. And then work 2 more front post double crochets into the next 2 stitches. And then in the next stitch, you have to work a half double crochet. And then the next 2 is 2 front post double crochets, and then a half double crochet, and then 2 front post half double crochets, and then another half double crochet. And now this is going to be where your cable is going to go. So you work 2 front post half double crochets, and then work a front post double crochet 2 times where this back post double crochet initially was. I'm going to go really slow on this one. So a half double crochet into the next one. Remember, you should have 3 half double crochets in between each time. So 1, 2, 3. And that's how you know they're being spaced properly. So there's my first half double crochet. And then I have to work the 2 front post double crochets. There's my second half double crochet. Here's my 2 front post stitches. And here's my third half double crochet. So now that means it's time to set up another cable. So I work 2 front post half double crochets in the next 2 stitches. And in this back post double crochet, I work 2 front post double crochets. And then I work my half double crochet in the next stitch. Two front post stitches, a half double crochet, 2 front post stitches, a half double crochet, and then I work another cable setup. So 2 front post stitches, 2 front post stitches into the same stitch, and then a half double crochet into the next stitch, and now I have 3 half double crochets again. And then that's my first half double crochet afterwards. That's my second. And that's my third. So now I'm going to work 2 in 1 stitch. And then work my final half double crochet, which makes this initial row have 3. See, 1, 2, and the third is over here. And now the next row is a row that is the cross row. So if I chain up 2 and work a double crochet front post, like it says, you're now just going to work all these rows straight. See, front post double crochet 2 times, half double crochet. Front post double crochet 2 times, half double crochet. And now that I've gotten to this 6th section right here, it's where I have to work my cross. So now I have to double crochet front post after skipping these next 3 stitches. And now that I've worked those 3 stitches, I have to work behind these 3 stitches that I've already established. And then work into the next stitch behind that cable. And that's what creates the cross pattern, as you can see. It always crosses from the left side to the right side, and that's what all the cables will cross. And then you're going to continue the pattern as you see it, which means where there's a half double crochet, you'll place a half double crochet. And where there's a front post double crochet, you'll place a front post double crochet. Oh, now we're back to another cabled section. So we're going to skip the first 3 stitches and double crochet front post into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then working behind those 3, we're going to double crochet front post into the 3 that we skipped. And then hook the next stitch on the front post. And then again, whatever that stitch was before, that's what it will be next. So since this is a half double crochet, it's going to stay a half double crochet. So now, what you do is for the next row, you're going to work all the way around and then continue working in this cabled pattern. So once you've done that, I'll meet you back and we'll discuss what to do after working your cabled repeat row. So this is what your hat looks like once you've worked the pattern's brim in the length that they want you to. Once you've worked the cross, and then once you've worked the next rows. But I'm going to show you that next row now. And yes, I've already worked a couple of them, but it's going to be the same thing that I'm still going to show you now. And the same rule applies. What you see, you're going to put there up until the cable. So I see 2 front posts. I see a half double crochet. So that's what I'm going to put there. And now I see all these stitches here that are just straight front posts. And that's what you have to do. You just put 6 front post double crochets in a row. And you have to do that for the next 4 rows after you work that cable row that you just finished. And I was already 3 rows in, so this is my final row. And now I'm just going to continue with what's there is what I'll continue to put there. And then now I'm going to put my 6 front post double crochets from the cabled section. You can see. And this is what it's going to look like when you continue. Just continue going around like so. But once you've worked 4 rows of this, just working like I've shown you this round, after you slip stitch, repeat that. Then you're going to work your cable row again like I showed you. And then you repeat rows from the cable up. Here, you work the cable to here, and then you repeat that until the hat measures 5 inches, and then you end on the 4th row, which is this row. So once you have 3 rows up. And then I'm going to start by working a couple of the decrease rows. I'm not going to work all of them, because I don't want this video to get monotonous, but I am going to show you a few of them because I really want you to get the point of how to work the decreases, especially in the cable. Okay, so now I've ended on a row 4 repeat, which is where you have to end if you wanted to theoretically decrease your hat. Now you would have to continue going until it was 5 inches, and this is not 5 inches, but for tutorial's sake, we're going to begin to decrease. So, for our first decrease round, we're going to chain 2 and double crochet front post around each of the first 2 stitches. And then we're actually going to skip this first half double crochet. And then we're going to work a front post double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to half double crochet into the next stitch. And double crochet front post across each of the next 6 stitches. And then in the next stitch, we're going to work double crochet front post around each of the next 2 stitches. We're going to skip the next half double crochet and work right into the next 2 front post double crochets. And then we're going to work a half double crochet. And then work front post double crochets. and then work your half double crochet, and then work your 2 front post double crochets, skip this middle stitch, and then continue to work front post double crochets. And then now we're going to work our 6 front post double crochets. And I'm just going to continue working all the way across the end of the row. And then we will go right into our next decrease row. So skip the next half double crochet, and then work into the next one after that. And then front post in the next 2, skip a stitch, front post in the next 2. And then in the last stitch, work a half double crochet and slip stitch to the first stitch. And you can see this is going to create very incremental decreases. And then in the next stitch, work chain 2 and double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And then work your 6 cross. And then in the next 4 stitches, we're going to work a double crochet. And you can see how it's naturally starting just to decrease itself in. Let's continue working this around. And then we're going to work into our 3 skip stitches. And then work into the next half double crochet, and then work across the next 4 double crochets in the front post, and that's how you're going to work your decreases. You are going to have to work decreases in the cables, but those are super simple. And now you have a complete handle on this crochet cable rib hat. Oh, and the pom-pom. Let's do the pom-pom quick too. So I'll snip my yarn right here. Set this aside. Set my crochet hook aside. So you take your hand, hold the yarn down, and let it just drape over your hand. And then take 4 fingers and wrap the yarn around your hand 120 times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bless you. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, I just realized what it meant was excuse me. My bad. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I did a few extra wraps just because I like my pom-poms to be nice and full. Actually, I think I might even add a few more. Never hurts to have pom-poms that are too full. That should be plenty sufficient. Remove from fingers and tie tightly in the center according to the pattern. So then we have to tie ours tightly in the center. So I'll tie it like this, but then what I'm going to do is before I tie it, I'm going to loop it around again, like so. So it's going to double down when I tie it. And if I want to, I can also flip it over. And double it on this side as well. And then just work a regular tie. And maybe twist that one backwards. And then work a regular one the opposite direction. And now that I have this, it's nice and full. Like, that's very, very full of yarn. You can take it and just snip the loops. That's what it already looks like on this side. But we gotta get the other side undone too. So now if I grab this right here and just give it a little can just brush this all right up. And that'll clean it up nice and easily. And now, off camera, so you don't have to see it, I'm going to make a few snips to my pom-pom and I'll be right back. I gave our pom-pom a short trimming, but after the video, I'm going to take out my small scissors and give it more of a round shaping, and it's going to look immaculate on our plum wine Red Heart Crochet cable rib hat. And there's so many wonderful things to love about this hat, whether it's the versatility of it, whether it's its ability to be changed and modified, or how it's not all that difficult for the beautiful look that it gives you, and how dense it is, and how many different vibrant colors you can use, and how you can use any different 4 worsted weight yarn. I could just rave on and on about this crochet hat. It's a great way to introduce crocheters to cables who are wary of cables and have yet to make a project with them. Anyway, that brings me to an end of showing you how to make this Red Heart Crochet cable rib hat. I hope this video helped you understand crochet cables. And if you already know how to make crochet cables and use them on a regular basis in all your projects, I hope you enjoyed the beautiful hat you were able to create. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Jonah's Hands, and keep an eye out for future crochet tutorials as well as show and tells. Crochet away, friends.